What's good? It's your boy Trey Sanders, back again with Counterculture Management. I'm here with someone very special today, Mr. Mathew Knowles, who is an industry icon, a pillar of Houston, and a very special person in the music industry. So we're gonna be chatting with him today, asking him a few questions about the industry himself. So hopefully there's a lot that you can take it away from today. How are you doing today, Mathew?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you guys came to my home here in Houston. And it's always good to be back in Houston, and I'm always excited about having conversations, especially with young people.
Oh, yeah.
I might learn from that.
Absolutely. So my first question is, what is the biggest misconception about what it takes to make it in this industry?
Well, I think there's a lot of misconceptions. I think some people, and artists particularly, come into the industry wanting to be famous, come into the industry wanting to get rich, not knowing the amount of work that it takes to become great at this. I mean, it takes a tremendous amount of work. I think a lot of artists particularly think this is microwave success. You know, it takes somewhere between 6 to 7 years just to get your name out there from the day you start. And over the years, I've actually done research. It takes about 6.5 years from the day you start. And a lot of people, a lot of artists don't know that. They think this is overnight success, and it just don't work that way. You're gonna have failure. I guarantee you're gonna have failure. It's just part of the growth process.
My next question I have for you today is, why do many artists that begin to get traction fall off once they've started receiving that momentum?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons, Trey, for that. Often they don't have the right team behind them. And often if you're just starting out in this industry and you see yourself on the screen for the first time, and then all of a sudden your friends are giving you all of this boost, and it goes to your head. It does that thing called ego sometimes, and sometimes ego is self-destruction. You don't have a unique definition for ego. Ego is the anesthesia that deadens the pain of stupidity. I coined that, so I'll try to use it.
Oh, no.
But that's what happens in this industry. It's sad that you see a lot of artists start and they don't continue the work ethics. As you're getting to the top, you have to work harder, not less. And there's a misconception that it's just the opposite. So that's some of the things that happen.
What are some red flags when dealing with people in this industry? Flags that make you question whether or not you should be working with that person?
Yeah, that's a really good one. You know, one of the red flags is the fact of coming and being late. Late for promotional events, late for meetings. But that's a main red flag for me. It tells me that your passion is not there, and not wanting to put in the work. This again, I talk about this all the time. This is to become great at this. Notice I have not said the word good, because the people around me are great at what they do.
Absolutely.
It requires a continual growth and learning, taking some risk. It's a growth process, and a lot of artists don't want to put in the efforts and the work to be great. And that happens in all aspects of life. It can happen as a reporter, as an athlete. You know, you've got to put the work in. I talk about Kobe Bryant, 666. He had a term. Basketball is 6 months. Then it's 6 months off season. Most players would relax. And Kobe, however, 6 months he would practice 6 days a week, 6 hours a day, and he would start like at 4 o'clock so he could spend time with his family. That's what it requires. And when you see Serena and the Beyoncés of the world, that's the kind of work ethics they're doing, while other artists are not. They're sitting around, hanging out. These great artists and athletes in any profession are putting in the work.
My next question is, there's been this whole controversy about Timbaland and him signing an AI artist. And I want to know what your take is on that, but more specifically, why do we see a lot of industry professionals who are supporting him and a lot of artists and creatives that don't support that?
Well, I think it's too early to really understand the impact of AR in the music industry and entertainment, because we don't know yet who's gonna own the intellectual property. So I could go to AI and say, give me the best love songs, and create a love song based on the best love songs. Well, it might get 1/100th of your song, 1/100th of somebody else's song, and then come up with a new complete song. But you took 1/100th. And so we still don't know how that's gonna work. And until we figure the intellectual property part of it, we're kind of in limbo. But change is always gonna happen in the music industry and entertainment. You know, when I got in the industry, we had cassettes. Then we went to, CD, and now we're streaming. It's always going to be, evolution of how, and the technology will always change. So I'm not against it, but we do have to figure that one important aspect out.
Have you ever had a moment where you proved someone wrong who was more established than you at the time? What happened, and how did that shape your perspective?
I'm not about trying to prove someone wrong. I'm just about proving something right. A lot of people have great ideas, and they work and they move the needle. And I've been guilty of myself. Sometimes all of my ideas didn't work. So I'm not in the business of trying to prove someone wrong. I just don't do that. That's just not my style. That's just not me at all.
When you were starting out, you've never had a moment where there was someone who was more established than you at that time, and you were right about something that they were wrong about. You've never had that type of moment before.
Well, again, I guess our wording is different. When we first started out in the industry, we in our boot camps, we would study artists like Michael Jackson, like Mariah Carey, like Madonna, those artists that we felt were entertainers rather than singers. And it was a learning process. I went into the industry as a manager, understanding a different philosophy, that we weren't in the records business, we were in the branding business and building a brand for our artists, and understood marketing differently than the industry. And so those are some of the things that personally I had the opportunity to be an architect of Beyonce's career, and an architect of Destiny's Child and Solange and others. But again, I never took the approach of trying to prove somebody wrong. That's again just not my style.
That's what's up. What is one systemic issue in the music industry right now that needs urgent change?
Well, I think this has been an ongoing problem that needs urgent change. I think artists specifically need to understand some of the business part of it, because we're in the music business. It's not all about you. People invest, and they need to get a return on their investment. I think artists need to understand the concept of 10,000 hours, that it takes 10,000 hours of practice to get to a place of greatness. And what's happening in today's industry, we're spinning out a lot of artists, because today is easier with the digital platforms that we have and streaming for you or anyone else to put a song up. And sometimes it's a misconception that 1 million streams and now you're famous. Well, 1 million streams is like $4,000, and you gotta split that with other people. So I think it's a misconception that new artists have of the overall industry and what's required, again, to be great at it. And there's gotta be a sense of urgency of that. We're still in a business where approximately 30,000 albums come out a year on the major record labels. Only 1%, 300, make a profit out of 30,000. That's what you're up against when you get in the music industry. Independent record labels do a little better, 7, 8%. Still not a good number.
Yeah.
So there's a sense of urgency that we all. Everything I do in life is a sense of urgency. I don't use the word wait. That's just not what successful people do.
Right. Why do you think diversity, equity, inclusion is so important in the music industry and its growth and enrichment?
I think DEI is important in every industry. I think having different people with different cultures and different ideas brings success in an organization. I think that's the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion, is that you want people that come from a different place, that maybe has had a different experience, that could collectively, we can come out with ideas that are great ideas, because we don't have to think all alike. You know, we can think outside of the box and then bring it together. I think it's important because that's the world we live in today. This is not a white man world anymore. It's people of color. And I think the world in the future will be even a greater world when we see the browning of America. And the browning of America has happened, and it certainly has happened in music. And I think, you know, one of the things when I look back in 2000 when I sold Music World to a London-based rock company, and I was the president then of that division, I wish I had the forethought to, because it was rock, and now look back, boy, wouldn't it have been great to come out and do some songs with a rock band with Destiny's Child, or I had Nelly, or put Nelly on a rock song. You know, that's diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those are kind of things that come out, and you see how music has transitioned now.
Oh yeah.
That, you know, the genres are meshing together, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Knowles, for joining us today and answering a couple questions. My final remark that I'd like to make is, you know, I'm Trey Sanders. I'm the CEO founder of Counterculture Management. What do you think counterculture means in our title? What registers when you hear that?
Well, I think the two words says it all. When you counter something, and our culture, where do we come from? Where do we belong? And so you're coming in and you're making people uncomfortable. And sometimes change only comes about when you make people uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
So I applaud you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Knowles.
Thank you, sir.
For sure. I'm Trey Sanders, CEO, founder of Counterculture Management, and we're signing out for today's interview.